Hi, so I decided to do a video. I'm not sure if this will be the first and the last, but we'll see how it goes. For those that don't know me, I am a kindergarten teacher. And so most of my funny experiences come from the day-to-day activities of my students. I decided to share with family and friends and perhaps even people who don't know me just some of the interesting things that happen in the classroom. I also want to put a disclaimer out there. I am not talking about current students, nor am I or will I ever use anyone's name. For the most part, in my classroom, whenever something happens or there's a problem, I always blame it on George. And George is a student in my classroom, but he's a fictional student. And George does the darndest things. He is always getting into something. He is always messing with something. He is always doing and saying something. The kids take joy in hearing the wrongdoings of George. And he never fails them. He is always right on time. So the little story that I want to share with you today, I don't know if you'll find it funny or if you'll find it somewhat disturbing, but this is probably one of my stinkiest stories. So during reading, I am introducing my book, and I really feel like I just have this thing together. The kids are just going to love it, and all eyes are going to be on me. But I look down, and I see George, and George is sitting crisscross applesauce, of course, but his little legs are kind of flapping. He's not still. So, of course, I say, George, please keep your legs still. Now, George, mind you, is probably only, let's see, his knees are probably about less than 10 inches from my feet, right in front of him. I noticed that George tries to keep his legs still, but he couldn't. So as I'm introducing the book and I'm opening my mouth to say the title, all of a sudden I get choked up, which is probably why I'm clearing my throat so much right now, because I'm remembering back to this time. My mouth is open and I taste something. Now, as soon as I tasted something that wasn't quite right, I looked at George because, like I said, George is the one who is always doing something. George looks back at me and he has this sheepish look on his face. Now, let me tell you, people, I was disturbed. And in my mind, notice I said in my mind because I have to keep it together for the students, but in my mind, I am doing my stinky face. Well, I close my mouth, clear my throat a little bit, and all of a sudden, that same taste that kind of oozed down my throat, I could smell in my nose. Now, we will say that this taste and this smell together was a storm after the calm. I'm not quite sure what the calm was. Maybe that was George flapping his legs trying to trying to hold it in. But let me break this down to you. George had a little gas. And sometimes in class when the kids pass gas, I say body functions, or I might say razzmatazz. Well, George's razzmatazz, let's just say whatever he ate the night before did him no justice. People, I want you to understand this. The same way that flatulence smells is the exact same way that it tastes. Now, I don't know how many of you have ever experienced this, and I pray that you never do. But this is just one more thing that happens in the life of a teacher. I teach because I love the fact that I affect the lives of small children and could quite possibly help them grow into doctors, lawyers, professors, the President of the United States, maybe even a teacher. But there are some days that I wonder what George will turn out to be. At this point, I'm thinking that he might have something to add to the bomb industry, whoever makes fireworks, whoever does those commercials for Febreze. He would probably be a test subject. Hey, it is a job. It is a job. So I'm wondering, if you were me, what would you do besides brush your teeth and gargle? Have a good night.